What's up guys, welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be showing you how to get more FPS in Season 4 Reloaded of Call of Duty Warzone. So right now, in the menu screen, we're getting 59 FPS, around 59 FPS. So with these optimizations I'm about to show you, you can almost double that FPS anywhere, not even just the menu, it's just in-game. Expecting at least 100 FPS or 90 FPS depending on your PC. So if we head on down to these graphics settings, you can see right here VRAM, it's red. The max line is around 2,700, 3,000 megabytes of VRAM, and my PC is over 4,000 megabytes of VRAM. So right now we're going to show you a way how to increase that. So now you head into Documents in your File Explorer, Call of Duty Modern Warfare, Players, Advanced Options INI, and you change this video memory scale to around, like, if you have a GTX GPU, like 16 series, make it like 1.2. This video memory scale varies from 0.5 I think to 2. If you have an RTX based GPU, you could go for around like 1.9 or 2 even. But for a 16 series, I'd recommend going for 1.2, 1.3. For the render worker count, I'd recommend putting this half of your cores in your Intel CPU if you have one. So if you go to CPU, you see cores, I have 4 right here, so that would be 2. If you have 8, that would be like 4. You could do the math. Yeah, so that's basically it for these settings. So just file and save, close it up, restart your Warzone, because changes don't come in effect straight away as soon as you do it. So we'll be right back when we load up the game. Now before you load up the game, there's this one optimization which will help your input latency, and it will give you a bit of extra frames. So go to Show in Explorer, which is in the little settings part in the launcher right here. So Call of Duty Modern Warfare, and then scroll down until you find both exe files, Modern Warfare.exe and the Modern Warfare launcher. So for one of them, for both of them, right click, go to Properties, Compatibility, disable full screen optimizations, and go over here and then check that, and OK, and apply, and OK, and do the same thing for the other .exe, properties, compatibility, disable full screen optimizations, apply, OK. Alright, and that's pretty much it. Now launch Warzone and we're back. Alright, so we're back in Warzone. So now we go to graphics, and look at that, your VRAM usage limit is way higher. So let's go to display settings now. Now I found a little trick. If you go to 21:9 for your aspect ratio, you'll actually get higher FOV and more FPS, but it will shrink your screen a little bit. So like we apply a look like that. But honestly, I wouldn't mind 21:9. So if you go to here, the FOV, it's 120 for me, but over here it is definitely more than 120. And if you go to 32:9, apply settings, you're going to be on 148 FOV, which is pretty insane, and you'll be getting so much more FPS. And now we go to the menu screen and look at that FPS. Just look at it. That's crazy. Almost doubled the FPS, and we haven't even gone through the graphics quality settings. But for my preference, I'd rather 21:9. If you don't really care much about the game, you just want to play it, 32:9 does the job, more FOV and all that, but you'll be able to see the players less than 16:9, 21:9. So I'd recommend 21:9 out of all of them. So for the display resolution, I'd recommend keeping this at 100. If you're a low-end PC, just put this all the way down. But if you're a mid-end to high-end, just keep this at 100. The game looks half decent. Next thing you want to do, dynamic resolution, keep this disabled. This thing is completely useless. Even if you enable it and like put it on max, it's not going to get you 300 FPS in just a click. In my opinion, it's a pretty bad setting, so just don't enable it. I just recommend keeping this disabled. For VSync, it depends. If you put it on enabled and you have screen tearing, like if you see on the image on the left part, if you have that, then definitely turn on VSync. But if you don't really have that, just turn it off. For custom frame rate limit, I'd recommend this on unlimited. If you're in this video, you want to get more FPS, so we'll put this on unlimited. Capping your FPS does make it more stable, but we're here for the maximum FPS. In video highlights, I'd strongly recommend to disable this, because it records your game twice in your background, because if you have clipping software, you're already recording your gameplay once, but in video highlights it will clip it when you die, so you don't want that. And video low reflex latency, make sure to keep that on enable plus boost. Enable that normally if you have a low end PC. Enable plus boost if you have mid to high end. That's pretty much it for the display section of the graphics settings. So we're going to apply that and let's head on to quality. So field review, personal preference, I do 120. For ADS field of view, I'd put this on affected, because not only this will improve your aim, you'll have way higher FOV when you're aiming down sights, which is what is easier to play with. That's what makes it also look like there's no recoil, so I definitely strongly recommend keeping this on affected. So camera movement's a no-brainer, keep this all the way down unless you want a grenade exploding and shaking up your entire screen. Streaming quality, keep this on low. Basically what it does is it favors texture quality over performance, as it says there, and you do not want that, you want the highest performance. Texture resolution, I'd recommend keeping this on low. If you have a mid to high end PC, keep this on normal, but in any case I'd recommend keeping this on low or very low, but it doesn't really make it much of a difference. Make it on low. Texture filter anisotropic, keep this on low. I've actually seen much better FPS improvements by keeping it on low instead of high, because FPS drops are more frequent when it's on high. Particle quality, I've actually seen more FPS on high. As you can see on the left image, it absolutely looks terrible. And yeah, so why not more FPS and better image quality. Bullet impact and sprays, I keep this enabled as personal preference. Tessellation, keep this disabled. Dismemberment and gore effects, it's personal preference. If you want to see someone's arm falling off after you shoot them, keep this enabled. Otherwise, just disable it. For on-demand texture streaming, I definitely keep this off because it will download textures while you're in game, which will definitely kill your FPS. So filmic strength. Now, turn this all the way up if your anti-aliasing is off, which we will be turning off in this video. But on off and turn it to 1. Film grain, keep this on 0. It'll just make your game look ass. Anti-aliasing, we're going to keep off. Depth of field, honestly, personal preference. It really does not matter. I'll just keep it disabled. World motion blur and weapon motion blur. If you run a low-end PC and get low FPS, keeping these on will absolutely, you won't be able to see anything. So just keep it disabled. Either way, anyway, if you're a high end or low end. Shadow map resolution, this thing's the biggest culprit of your FPS. Make sure you have this on low. Cache spot shadows and sun shadows, these actually help a lot with your FPS. For example, after a few days, you'll see a better improvement in your FPS because it'll store all these shadows in the system cache, so you won't have to worry about rendering the shadows anymore. Particle lighting, honestly, low or normal will be fine. Ambient occlusion, keep it disabled. SSR, definitely keep that disabled. Or low, honestly. So now we'll apply setting, and now we are finished. So let's go to display. We're gonna put it on 32.9. We'll apply every single optimization we could, and look at that FPS. Jesus, the increase from 59 to this. I'd say this is a pretty good optimization. So I'm gonna hop into a match and show you the FPS in game as well. So now we're in game, and look at the FPS. 100 FPS. I'd say from 59 to 100 FPS, pretty cool. With all these settings, I haven't changed a single thing after that cut. Every single setting here, and you know what? We'll just we could put it on 21.9, but we'll just stay on 32.9. Just higher FOV. I might even switch to 29 FOV in a bit. I'll just do that now, actually. Oh, there we go. And we still are able to maintain 90 and almost 100 FPS. So I'd say this definitely really helped get me more FPS as well, and in general it helped you even get more FPS. So that will conclude our video. Oh, crap. So yeah, thank you so much for watching, and peace out, boys.